Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I just got back from the theaters after seeing Cocaine Bear! Jesus. If only the movie was as good as the title. Because it's a great title, it is. Especially the fact that it's based on a true story. Not really, but kind of. I saw the trailer for this and I thought, wow, this movie looks insane. This movie looks wild. This movie looks like a lot of fun. And then, of course, now, after watching the movie, I gotta say I'm pretty disappointed by the kind of film that I saw. Now, look, I wasn't expecting some Oscar-worthy film. I wasn't expecting a movie that had the greatest writing with the greatest performances of all time. But for a movie called Cocaine Bear, for a movie about a bear eating cocaine, in going on a massive killing spree, I expected more. I expected better. I expected this to be funnier. And I think that's the biggest flaw that this movie has, is that it's just not funny. And it tries. It tries to be funny. It's definitely trying to be a comedy. There are several scenes, several moments, several situational stuff that's supposed to be goofy and silly, but it's just bland. It's just not funny at all. In the theater that I went to, it wasn't completely full, but it wasn't anywhere near empty either. There was a decent amount of people in there, and there was probably only one scene that made people chuckle. And I could tell it was the teenage boys that were way in the back because there's nobody else around me that was laughing at anything going on. This is a 2023 film that was directed by Elizabeth Banks. And I like Elizabeth Banks for the most part. I more so like her acting in movies that she has been in versus her directing. Her first directed film was Pitch Perfect 2, which I thought was just okay, but compared to the first film, a disappointment. Her last movie was that Charlie's Angels horrible piece of shit remake. And the less said about that, the better, even though she is wildly angry for people who didn't like it. I'm sorry, it sucked. And then this movie, how do you fuck this up? Again, it's an easy story to adapt. It's an easy story to make outrageous. It's almost wanting you to make a dumb, stupid, but funny type film. And I was bored. I wasn't interested by a lot of this. I feel like, too, the best parts of the movie, if you want to even call them that, are already shown in the trailer. And usually that shouldn't be the biggest problem. Usually you should still be able to go into the movie and still find other things to like. But since there wasn't really anything else to like, and since the trailer for this movie is the sole reason why I even gave a shit about going to see this, that's a flaw. That's a problem. It kind of shows that you don't really have a lot more else to do here. It takes place in, I believe, 1985. And like I said, true story, yeah, okay, whatever. The true story is that, sure, some dumbass guy fell out of a helicopter while he was supposed to be delivering cocaine bags. And the cocaine wound up in, like, the middle of the forest. And I guess a bear really did digest cocaine. It really ate it. It really consumed it. But in real life, the bear just died. The bear just said, holy shit, my heart can't take all this cocaine, and dropped dead immediately. Now, I'm perfectly fine with them being like, well, what if the bear didn't die? What if it went on a crazy binge and killed everybody? Great. Again, great idea. Great premise. But should you be allowed to say based on true events? Like, how close to the actual true events can this be to the real thing before you can just go completely off the rails and not have anything in common with the real story? That seems crazy, right? Right? Just a little bit. The cast in this movie is pretty decent as well, and I think that too is a disappointment because of how not good the cast is handled. O'Shea Jackson Jr., he's just kind of here. You know, he's just like, hey, I'm just a dude that's trying to be a part of this cocaine job and shit went wrong, and so I'm just trying to locate the cocaine. Nothing that they had him and Alden Ehrenreich, who is his partner, a bunch of stuff of Alden Ehrenreich being upset because his ex died or some said shit, and so he's super depressed and sad. And it's supposed to be funny, like the situation should be funny that he's sad about that, and if a song plays on the radio, he starts to get sadder. But I just was sitting there like, man, this is kind of cringe to watch. Ray Liotta plays the father of Alden Ehrenreich, the guy who's really in charge of this cocaine job. And this is Ray Liotta's last movie. At least I believe this is his last movie because he passed away last year. And fuck, what a final film to have the in memoriam, in memory of, at the end of the movie. But it's Ray Liotta. He's made some great films, sure, but when you think about some of the last few films that he's been in, some of the shitty films he's been in, maybe it's not that far off that this would be his final one. Maybe it does make a lot of sense. Kerry Russell plays a mom who is basically the entire time she's looking for her daughter. Her daughter ran away to go do something with this other kid, and for whatever reason, the bear kills and dismantles and tears apart everybody else that it comes into contact with. But her daughter, her little girl, it just takes and brings into a cave. Now I know bears, they take food to hibernate, you know, right? Like they prepare for that. I know. I'm not an idiot. But the bear is clearly high, clearly violent, clearly not acting like a usual bear would. That just seemed very convenient. You know, we need to give Kerry Russell something else to do while these other characters are doing what they're doing over there. Whatever. The two kids I did think were decent. Brooklyn Prince plays the daughter, and Christian Convery plays the other little boy. And they had some amusing moments. I didn't laugh at anything, but I thought their performances were good. The performances are solid. You know, I just think we needed either a second crack at the script. We needed to punch up the jokes a little bit. I thought I saw that Phil Lord and Chris Miller were like executive producers. Holy fuck. That can't be true because there's no way, as funny as those guys are, as funny as their movies usually are, like when they're actually writing and directing, there's no way that they touched anything in this movie. Like, they would have punched this up. They would have been like, we can make this funnier. We can make this better. We can make this great. In fact, let us just fucking take over the director's chair and do what we do best. I don't want to shit on Elizabeth Banks. I don't want to say that she sucks as a director. I don't think she's great. Just going off of her track record and with this movie, but I feel like maybe one day, like, she's not horrible, right? It's not like this movie's unwatchable. Well, maybe one day she will finally crack a film or crack a script that will fit her tone and her skill better. The bear itself, I didn't realize from the trailer how bad the CGI for the bear would be. I know this movie couldn't have had a bigger budget. I wasn't expecting this to look like a Marvel movie. I wasn't expecting this to look great. But the bear CGI in some parts looked really rough. It looked almost like Yogi Bear, fucking cartoon bear running around. But okay, cool. Because whenever it would attack people, the tone is all over the place. It's like supposed to be funny, but yet you're seeing people who kind of don't deserve to be killed by the bear be ripped apart, and I'm just like, am I supposed to be enjoying this or having fun with this? Because I'm not. I mean, again, if it was funnier, maybe I would be able to go along with it. That's probably the problem, is that if it was funnier, I'd have more fun watching these people die a horrible and gruesome death. I'm not somebody who's anti-violence. I will watch a film. I've laughed at plenty of horror movies that had horrible kills in them, but it doesn't help that the gore and the blood is very fake looking, very CGI heavy. There is a lot of CGI for a movie that doesn't have the budget to use this much CGI. I don't get why, especially because it takes place in the 80s. I don't get why there wasn't more practical effects. You know, maybe they just wanted to rush through this production and not take as much time to go practical, but they needed to go practical. That would have gone a long way to make these kills and make the gore look better. I'm disappointed. I am. I'm not angry enough. I didn't walk out of the movie going, "Oh fuck," you know, I had waste of time. Even though it kind of was. I did go to the theater. I did spend my own money to see this. They didn't really have screenings, at least in my area, for this movie. It's almost like they knew what they were dealing with, and they said, "See it at your own leisure." So I'm gonna reluctantly give this a Netflix and chill.
Oh, yeah.
In due time, I might think about this and say, yeah, it actually is a lot lower. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below if you too decided to check out Cocaine Bear. Maybe you enjoyed it more than I did, or do you agree that just not that good? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.